Hello and welcome back to UE5 BP Guru. Today we're continuing on our informational tutorial series. You'll notice I'm in UE4 today. That's because I couldn't be bothered to wait for a blank UE5 project to open. This is one I just had for some reason saved in my projects. But it will work exactly the same for UE5. The information's no different. So what is a BPI? Well, a BPI is a blueprint interface. We use this to talk between our blueprints. So, for example, if we had an event in the world and we want something to happen when we interact with something or we walk into a certain area, you can use a blueprint interface to tell the other blueprint what to do, or if you want to set something within that blueprint. Today, in our example, we're going to be using a color change function where we walk into this collision box and it tells this box to change color. Very simple. You probably don't need a blueprint interface to do something like this. This is just as an example to show you how these things interact with one another. I'll show you it playing first. Let's jump in. So if we walk up these stairs, oh, I missed it. Let's walk in and you can see the box changes to green when we walk in and out. Now again, you could normally do this with just a normal collision box, but we're just using this as an example to show you how the blueprint interface works with one another. So how do we create a blueprint interface? Well, if we right click on here and go down to blueprints, and it shows it there, blueprint interface, we can click on it and it'll create this map icon here for you, but we don't need it, we've already got one. So just open up your blueprint interface, and if you click on one of these, there you go, click on it. It shows you the function or event node that we expect to see when we call it, and it is just a bunch of events that we can, or functions that we can call down the line. And if you click on add new function, give it a name, it doesn't matter what it is, and on here you can change what inputs and outputs you expect to see. If I click on a new one, you can see we have all these we can pick from. We can pick like an integer, for example. If I actually go to the one, there you go, you can see it's appeared at the bottom there, but we don't need it, so let's get rid of it for now. So I've created a boolean just called in range, so that when we become in range, it'll move the code into the blueprint we want to change. So on top of this, I've also created a collision box and a box, which is just two blueprint actors with different things inside. The collision box, it has just, again, self-explanatory collision box, and we've got our begin and end overlap for that collision box. Casting to the third person character as always, and for this one, I'm getting all actors in the world. We're doing a get. Now, as we only have one, I don't have to worry about the index number, so we're always going to take index 0, and then I'm calling the message from the blueprint interface. In the box, we have a branch, and it's just a set material on either one, green or red. But how do we get these events and this message? So for every blueprint interface you create, wherever, depending on where you want to use it, you're going to want to go into the class settings. And on the right hand side you have this section that says interfaces. On UE5 I believe it is the same, and you just want to click on the add button and you can just literally search for whatever the blueprint interface is called. Now mine is already added, so it won't show up on the list, but yours should appear on there, and mine is called color change BPI. So now that we have our blueprint interface added to our box, we want to call the event. So you want the event to be called on whatever you're trying to pass your information to. So in this instance, we are starting with a collision box. When we walk into it, we want to pass our information into the box to tell it what to do. So to get your event, it's just like getting any other event. You should have color change, event color change. Now you're looking for what you've named your function in here. So that's why you can see remove color and color change. You're not going to be looking for whatever you've called your BPI. So for example, if I called it interface BPI, you're not looking for interface to show up in your search bar. You're looking to find the function you've created within the blueprint interface. So for example, we have event color change. If I was to type in remove color, we have call function remove color. That's not the function. Sorry, we're looking for the event. My apologies. Remove color. There it is. The event. Remove color event. And you can see it's come from the BPI because it's got the BPI symbol in the top right. Delete that one out. Now we have our Boolean, and I've added that into our branch, which now checks to see which material is being set. That's all you need to copy this for this little tutorial, this little example. In our collision box, now we need to get the message. Well, it's the same thing. We need to add it to our class settings. So go into your class settings, go to the interface section in the details panel, and add in that interface. Again, mine's there, color change BPI. Once you've done that, we can pull off from a node. So let's do it from the get all actors. And we can type in color change, and we have our interface call there. But because we've already called, the message, it won't show up in that list. So let's use remove color instead, and there is our color message. Once we've used it, we can copy and paste it, but we won't be able to call it again, I don't believe, from that. Oh, we can. Never mind. Okay, you can actually call it more than once. But anyway, doesn't matter. You can still get it. But you want to get that color change message as a message, because we're sending a message to the other BPI. That's the best way to look at it. And you need to plug in a target so that it knows what you're changing, and that's where the get all actors of class comes into play, where we get all of our actors, we get the one we want to change, and we plug it in to that message, and then we set the in range to true or false, and then you want to compile, and it should be as simple as that. So what would you use a blueprint interface for? Well, you're going to be mainly using this for, as I said, it's a form of transferring information from one blueprint to the other. Best examples is when you're creating events in game. So you see a lot of games where they enter a collision box, the camera changes, and something happens, something changes within the world that is quite significant. Maybe the door opens or unlocks. Well, you'll want to do that maybe for a blueprint interface to save you calling lots of different things in the world to change them. You would just use a message and have it do it more locally within that blueprint, instead of having it all happen maybe within, for example, that collision box. I also use it for save games. So for example, you've probably seen it in the Pokemon clone, where I call a blueprint interface to transfer save information to the game instance. That's also another good example of how to use a blueprint interface. But yeah, very useful tool. Again, it's one of those many things I think most beginners should be using within their games, or you will at least see this in tutorials come up a lot. I've seen it happen in weapon systems and inventory systems and things like that as well. So lots of useful examples there of how to use a blueprint interface and how it should help you within your early days of game development. Hopefully you found this useful. If you have, hit that subscribe button. It's free to do. You can always change your mind. Don't forget to leave it a like. And obviously, if there's any small things you want explained within code, please leave it in the comments, and I'll be happy to cover it down the line. Thanks so much, guys. Catch you next time. Take care. Much love. Bye.